starting. Is that us? Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Shanade Garcia.
And I'm Timothy Whitfield.
Parents and educators regularly lament the little amount of sleep teenagers get. CSUN Child and Adolescent Development Professor Virginia Huynh published a study examining how being a victim of even minor acts of discrimination can further impact a teenager's sleep pattern. Erin O'Mara is live with the story.
I'm here with Professor Huynh. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation.
So what effect does discrimination have on students?
Well, research shows that discrimination is consistently related to lower psychological health, so things like depression and anxiety. And more research is looking at things like physical health with adults, so like blood pressure and increased risk for cardiovascular disease. But with my study, I recently found that more discrimination is actually related to worse sleep and amount of sleep. So the research generally suggests that it's far-reaching in the effects of discrimination.
And what can parents, teachers, and students do to deal with the discrimination?
Well, what some research suggests is that if there's a comfortable and safe space where students don't feel like there's racial tensions is really beneficial. So sometimes if there's the feeling of support, especially at school where kids feel like they are respected, that they belong, that they feel connected at school, then that might be protective. So to the extent that there might be student clubs on campus that can openly talk about discrimination, or having teachers or faculty members or staff and administrators talk about these issues, I think it might feel like students are more supportive and less likely to affect them.
Okay, well, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
And back to you guys in the studio.
Appreciate it. A shooting at the Fort Hood military installation in Texas leaves at least 4 people dead, including the gunman, and over a dozen injured. The gunman, Ivan Lopez, was wearing an Army uniform at the time of the shooting. The base was locked down for much of the afternoon and into the evening. Lopez reportedly had mental health issues and was being treated for depression and anxiety before he killed 3 people and wounded 16 others. Dr. Mathis Davis says 9 of the 16 people are currently being held in Baylor Scott and White Hospital.
3 of them remain in critical condition. We have 5 others. 2 of those are what I would consider fair condition, and the remainder are in good condition. There is a possibility that several of them may actually be discharged from the hospital today.
Lopez was an Iraqi war veteran, but never saw combat during the 4-month deployment as a truck driver.
A 7.8 aftershock has hit Chile. At least 6 died after Tuesday's 8.2 earthquake. 4 of those who died suffered heart attacks, while 2 others died during the earthquake. There were no immediate reports of additional casualties from the aftershock. Over 9,000 people were evacuated, and more than 2,500 houses sustained serious structural damage. Tuesday's earthquake generated a small tsunami. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center issued several tsunami warnings when the aftershock hit, but canceled all of them early Wednesday.
Israel is now backing out of an earlier promise to release a 4th batch of Palestinian prisoners. Secretary of State John Kerry has been trying to negotiate peace talks between Israel and the Palestinians.
On the Middle East peace process, we remain committed. The parties met even last night. They are continuing to have their discussions. We will continue, no matter what, to try to facilitate the capacity of people to be able to make peace.
Israel's change of mind was spurred by Palestine's attempt to join 15 meetings through the UN.
Russia hikes its gas prices to a point that could cripple the Ukrainian economy. For the second time in 3 days, in a 3-day span, Russia has increased its gas prices. The price so far has risen by 80% and has caused the Ukrainians a $2.2 billion gas debt. Russia has also scrapped 2 different options for discounts. Officials are saying Russia is using its gas prices as a political weapon to keep a leg up over its neighbors.
Pope Francis and Britain's Queen Elizabeth II have met for the first time today. The Queen and her husband, Prince Philip, paid a one-day visit to Italy at the invitation of the Italian president. She and the Duke of Edinburgh attended a lunch. While in Italy, she took the time to privately meet with the Pope. Only the Queen, Prince Philip, and the Pope were in attendance. This was the fifth Pope the Queen has met.
Turkey's telecoms authority has lifted the ban on the social media service Twitter today. Access to the Twitter was blocked on March 21st. The announcement comes a day after a Turkish court ruled that the country's ban on Twitter violates the right for free expression.
Covered California has the most significant sign-up rates, but a mistake on the website made an erotic hotline just as popular. As thousands rushed to meet the March 31st deadline, many turned to a phone number that was off by one digit. Covered Californian officials are admitting they mistakenly added a number of a sex chat service. The additional number was on the website was a TTY, which was designed for the hearing impaired. For the sake of healthcare, the number has been fixed on the website.
Italian police are keeping 2 stolen paintings in a safe for the time being. They found the paintings in the home of a Fiat employee. He purchased the valuable masterworks at an auction in 1975 for $30 and was allegedly unaware that they were stolen or that they are actually worth about $50 million. Paul Gauguin's still life of fruit on a table with a small dog and Pierre Bernard's The Girl with 2 Chairs were stolen from the British home of Sir Mark Kennedy and his wife in 1970. The right owner of the paintings are both deceased and have no beneficiaries who take the possession of their works.
The election for associated students at CSUN is over, and Matador News reporter Ladiana has more on the story.
Thanks, guys. CSUN will now have a new Associated Students president for 2014, Tiffany Zeich. Matador students voted in Zeich and current Vice President Talar Alexanian, who unofficially beat Jesus Martinez Ramirez and Taylor Burke decisively by more than double the amount of votes. Current AS President Christopher Willett says he is happy to hand over his position.
Tiffany and Talar are fantastic. You know, I've worked with Talar in multiple roles, and Talar is the student trustee right now, so she is the official voice for not just 38,000 students, but the 437,000 students across the 23 campuses, across the 23 CSUs. So, I mean, she's more than qualified. Tiffany is a winner. I mean, she is the current sustainability officer, and she has had major wins this year. She got Zipcar implemented. Matador Exchange, which is like a Craigslist for CSUN students to buy and sell books or trade books. Flow Water, which is a cheaper way to get water using reusable bottles instead of to reduce waste for plastic. So, I mean, we have 2 people who are extremely qualified.
Tiffany and Talar will be sworn into office on June 9th. Now back to you guys in the studio.
And now, business. Romy Ginsberg has the latest on Microsoft's new smartphone personal assistant.
Thanks, Shanade. Microsoft is playing catch-up once again with Apple and Android.
Hi, I'm Cortana.
The company has just introduced Cortana, their version of Apple's Siri, a personal voice assistant featuring reminders, sports scores, and app launches. The new service will also include access to third-party apps such as Hulu. Cortana will premiere in the U.S. first and will then be available on phones as early as April. Experts say it will be difficult to bring a successful criminal case against General Motors. GM Chief Executive Mary Barra faced heat from U.S. Congress this week. GM is being investigated for ignition switch issues resulting in 13 deaths. Senators repeatedly interrupted Barra as she tried to explain what happened. The 2009 government bailout of GM's bankruptcy has ensured that GM may not be liable for any of the deaths or injuries. The Dow and S&P 500 have fallen after opening with all-time highs this morning. At last check, the SP 500 is down about 1 1/3, and the Dow is up about 2 points. And now, back to Tim with more news.
Thank you, Romy. And now to Jessica with our health news.
Thank you, Tim. A new study shows those who are getting more morning sunlight tend to weigh less. Researchers found people who get more sunlight between 8 in the morning and 12 noon have a lower body mass index. Researchers say light helps to regulate the body's internal clock responsible for energy and balance. The study encourages schools and workplaces to have more windows allowing for more natural sunlight. After midterms and right before spring break, some CSUN students are running out of energy. Upwave.com says there are a few simple steps to increase your endurance and stamina. When doing reps, you should aim for more repetitions, less resistance, and less rest time between sets. It is also recommended to maintain a balanced workout schedule in addition to increasing the intensity of your workouts. Most importantly, we need to remember to give our bodies adequate rest and recovery. CSUN students are getting ready for spring break, and a lot of them have some interesting plans.
Well, right now I have a job, so I'm gonna work like 40 hours per week.
For spring break, I'm going to Santa Barbara to hang out with my friends and and have a good time, basically.
Well, for the first 2 days, going to Vegas. Yeah, but because my last experience was bad. The next few days, probably come back, catch up on some sleep, honestly.
For spring break, I'm going to Fresno to visit our brothers at our chapter out there.
I'm going to Disneyland for spring break.
Campus will be closed all next week, and Matador News will be back April 15th. And now back to Shanade for the news.
And now back to Rome for entertainment.
Thanks, Shanade. Orlando Bloom has been officially welcomed into Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Bloom told fans that gathered he has never been so happy to be walked over or trampled upon.
This is one of those moments when, it's never going to come again, is it? You're never going to receive a star twice on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right?
Bloom accepted the star after his role in The Lord of the Rings and Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Bloom was joined by his son Flynn and Zulu co-star Forrest Whitaker as he accepted his star. Season 4 of the HBO series Game of Thrones will premiere this Sunday. In the run-up to the season premiere, HBO will show a weekend-long marathon of the first 3 seasons. The marathon will begin Friday morning and will include all 30 episodes twice. There will be no excuses for not being fully caught up on your Game of Thrones fix. And now, back to Tim.
Thank you so much, Rome. Now let's go to Jessica for more with sports.
Thanks, Tim. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the San Diego Padres Wednesday night 5-1. Dan Herron pitched strongly for 6 innings, and Hanley Ramirez hit a 2-run double in the first inning. The Dodgers won 2 of 3 games against the Padres. They will also play the San Francisco Giants this Friday in their home opener. Clippers are in the playoffs after Saturday night's win against the Houston Rockets. With the team trailing by 12 and star player Blake Griffin's back spasms, things were looking down for the Clippers. But in the second half, Chris Paul heated up the score, 30 points and 12 assists. Jamal Crawford also added 22 points. The Clippers will face the Dallas Mavericks Thursday night at 7:30. And now back to Shanade for news.
The weather today is partly cloudy with a high of 69 degrees and a low of 50. We can say goodbye to the rain because this weekend we'll be getting a taste of summer. Everyone can feel free to break out those board shorts and bikinis and head to the beach. The surf will be low tide, reaching 1 to 2 feet. On Saturday, temperatures will be around 83 degrees, and Sunday will be reaching a high of 87 degrees.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Timothy Whitfield.
And I'm Shanade Garcia. Have a great spring break.